Well, we're back with the podcast, and I was thinking of an intro, but there's no way I can really top what we've just seen. That's from the crazy, fucked up brain of our good friend TCG here, back again,
Yep,
making the big podcast return.
out of retirement.
He's been locked in his basement for the past year, just working this video.
Yeah,
Wait,
honestly, like I made too much effort on that.
I think the payoff's worth it.
Do you know the worst part? The render I sent Cameron, which won't be the one that you guys see, there's actually an error at the end where I forgot to close off one of the faces. So I'm actually technically no finished. So whenever this goes live, the version Cameron's seen is like the beta version, and you guys are getting the nice polished up
The
version.
full release. You
Yeah.
lucky bastards.
Yeah,
I'm jealous.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot's happened. Since the last time we done this podcast. I mean, I feel like, life kicked in a bit and, anime and things like that probably hasn't been the biggest priority with us all, but we're back at it again and, quite excited. I mean, the good news about not doing a podcast for like a year and a bit is there is a lot of things to talk about.
And the bad news is we're really out of practice and we barely remember what we're supposed to do. But
Yeah.
we'll work through it, we'll soldier through, and we'll get something that's semi-salvageable.
Yeah, no, and I mean, like, we're probably just going to end up treating this like a conversation we're having normally that's being recorded.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we even bothered with any real conversation topics, but winging it's sometimes the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you want to just jump into it, I mean, like, since January, Pokemon's been a big obsession with me. Tracked down a cheap Game Boy with Pokemon Fire Red, and ever since then, it's to this day, I'm playing through them all and doing 11 decks and all with them, so it's a real commitment. So it is.
You're completing the decks for every game.
Yep. So
Jesus
I'm
Christ.
on Pokemon Black, which holy fuck, Pokemon Black's fucking amazing. Why did everybody hate it? It's actually like really, really good.
I think it's maybe the best DS Pokemon game.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I mean, people suck Heart Gold and Soul Silver's deck, but genuinely, they have nothing on Pokemon Black and White. I'm not even going to Black and White 2 yet. Like, I own every game. Like, I went on a buying spree and bought them all, but I'm on my way to Black and White. Apparently Black and White 2 is even better, which I can't... Like, I love this game so much. Like, it's one of the few games, like, I don't have a TV show in the background for. I'm not listening to music. Like, I just genuinely play the game with no distractions.
I remember there was one area I really liked in it. I think it's where you go to catch Lapras. It's like a small village.
Okay.
You'll know which one I'm on about. It's like a music village.
And this is is this in Black and White 2?
Well, Black and White 1. Like, you go to this village, you talk to all the villagers, and they'll, like, start singing, and they'll start playing the drums and stuff, and, like, adding to the soundtrack.
Yeah.
I assume you've been there.
I don't think I have.
You're missing out. That's one of my favourite areas in that game.
Yeah, no, I mean the game's shit hot, and I mean I even done which the old podcast remember Google says you're an idiot, don't do that, but I even played Colosseum in XD. Account name is Canon, so I've caught everything in the name as well. So I actually have a Metagross that I caught in Colosseum, then traded to Fire Red, then traded to Emerald, then traded to Sinnoh and beat that region's decks, then traded it to Johto. So like it's just got all these badges for all the games, like like the ribbons you get.
What are you doing for, if I remember correctly, there's some, like, legendaries you could only get from the online, like, that have special events or something. Are you just having to trade for them and build up the dexes?
So
like the ones you can't get in the game normally?
So I guess I'm technically half cheating. So the ones like Mew or Celebi or Jirachi, they're all an absolute nightmare because they're not programmed into the game, they're not catchable. So what I done, which technically isn't cheating, it's just it's a legit Pokemon through illegitimate means. I bought one of the R4 in the Super DS, and I went online and I found somebody that had leaked the distribution ROM. So you go to like, because when I was younger, I went to an event. It was actually televised. It was on Cartoon Network 2, but it was an event in Toys R Us. And if you went to it, you got a Mew, and it was to celebrate the release of Diamond and Pearl. But
Oh, I remember that kind of thing. Go to like Game or something, and they'll
yeah,
hand out Mewtwo or something like that.
no, it's not even that they hand it out. It's like a wireless distribution. So basically how it works is like I've got an R4 for DS and I've got a Super Card for Game Boy. Basically what the Super Card does, you put the ROM in the distribution. So somebody's like found it in a warehouse or somebody's like stole it or something, right? But they've dumped the ROM online, and if you put it in, it will send out the same signal as long as you get a wireless adapter. So as far as the game's concerned, it's legit. It has the same moves, it has the same stats. It's not technically hacked. It's just a legit Pokemon through illegitimate means, and it's the same way. It's the same way. Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and Black White 2. Like they have wireless distributions, and like you can trade them up. They're all legit. They're no hacked. If you go on Cerebi, and look up the distributions and stuff, like the stats match up and the dates match up. Like everything's legit. It's just like you've done it yourself rather than going to an event.
Yeah. So did they come up saying like a cheat received from this like promotional event and stuff? Like,
Yeah,
totally
I mean,
legit.
I've got the, do you know legendary dogs, Entei, Raikou, and Suicune? I've got
No,
shiny.
the classics.
Yeah, of course. I have them, but they're like shiny, and on the event it says like, I think it says like GameStop 2011, like is the original trainer. So it's like it literally is the event. It's just I've not went to the place for them, and I mean, in regards to the online communities and things, like they're a bit sketchy because they're like they are legit, but it doesn't really count because you kind of cheated to get them. So it's like a weird grey area. But as far as I'm concerned, the first 4 gens I have 11 decks. Gen 5 is a bit of a bigger gen, but there's 2 games, so I'm not stressing about it as much. However, the issues arise in Gen 6 and 7 because they have a lot of Pokemon such as like Hoopa or Zeraora or Marshadow, which are codes or Wi-Fi distributions. But obviously those events have came and passed, and Nintendo aren't going to do it again. And the difference between what's happening with the 3DS compared to the DS is like you can go on eBay and you can buy like like I don't know if they're like out and about, but one of the distributions is a shiny Metagross. It was based off of one of the guys Ray for VGC when he won one of the years, so they gave it out as a distribution. You can like go on eBay and probably track down the event cartridge for that shiny Metagross and do it yourself. But with these new gens, like there's nothing physical, so there's like no way to really get these. So like I'm worried about Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon because I don't know how I'm going to get like Zeraora and Marshadow, and if I try and go on the GTS, they're probably going to be hacked.
Yeah, this sounds like you're kind of fucked for the
Yeah,
new gens.
but as it stands right now, I've caught one of everything. Actually, technically, I mean, if you look at on the GameCube, they have this game called Pokemon Box. It's basically just Pokemon Bank, but like a physical game. In America, it's really rare. It's like $200. Over here, I got a boxed copy of Coliseum with a memory card and a copy of Pokemon Box because they kind of came together. And it was like £23.
That's because Scotland's the superior country, best prices for everything.
Oh yeah, no, I mean
Proven
like
once again.
I mean the only thing that the UK seems to be shagging in regards to prices is like I don't know. Have you played Spider-Man on PlayStation 4 yet?
I've not played it, but it looks hella good.
It's one of the cases where I loved it. It's the only game on PlayStation I've ever platinumed because I'm like still new to PS4. I only get a Pro at like Christmas time.
So you're not fully taken over by the platinum craze
No,
that a lot of people get into.
But it's not that I don't like PlayStation. It's just like I get caught in the Pokemon hype right after I bought a PlayStation. So right now my PlayStation's like certified a certified Netflix machine.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And I have Bloodborne, and I got a copy of Kingdom Hearts, the story so far. And I think I've got a couple of other games. Like I've got them in a bag, sealed with receipts in my room, just like a backlog bag. I basically done that thing I done on Steam where I had like 70 games that I haven't downloaded yet and just made it physical. So that's fun. I mean, technically there's even more because I'm looking at my pile of Pokemon games right now. I started to play Pokemon White, 2, Pokemon Y, Alpha Sapphire, and then Ultra Sun, so you can count them as well. But like, having PlayStation seems pretty good. I'm only gutted because I bought the Pro, and then like 2 months later, like, oh yeah, PS5 can play every PS4 game, and it's better quality than the Pro. I was like, well, fine.
That's one of the things I hate about gaming now. Like, I'll buy a console, like you'll buy it day one or whatever, and you're an early adopter, and then it feels like you're just getting shafted by the companies because then they'll be releasing this more powerful version or whatever for like the same price later on. And I know like that kind of stuff's always going to happen, but it makes me never want to buy something like day one. Like with the Switch, people are saying, oh, there's a Pro Switch coming out, so you can play like Breath of the Wild at like 60 FPS constant and stuff, and it's like, well, have I just wasted my money?
That was bullshit, that rumour. There's nothing. Since when was the Huffington Post a gaming outlet?
Oh, is it from them? Fuck.
Yeah,
I mean, I still think it's going to happen because they're working on like a Switch Lite, aren't they?
Yeah.
And they've done the same with the 3DS, the new 3DS, and all this, and they're treating the Switch like their next portable console. So I would be surprised if they don't make a more powerful version eventually. Even though I'd be very, very pissed off.
Yeah. I don't know if it was Huffington Post, but it was. It might have been like the New York Times or something. It was one of the like
Fucking
American
CNN
magazines.
or something.
Yeah.
Fox News.
Yeah. Basically, here's why I don't think that'll happen. Like, Nintendo knows their fan base, right? Nintendo knows their fan base will buy anything. But a lot of Nintendo's fan base has a Switch, but there's the additional new fans like me who basically what happened to us, I mean, I got to Pokemon Platinum and I played Battle Revolution, and that was the last game I played on Wii. Like, I was like, Nintendo's for kids, I'm an adult, I want to play Call of Duty, I want to play...
COD Zombies, Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, like, I want to buy Microsoft points, so I gave up on Nintendo. And then I came back once the Switch got announced, because I was like, hot damn, this shit looks fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, it's weird because like, I skipped a gen, I skipped the 3DS, and the only reason I have a 3DS now is because I'm a big advocate for going to mom and pop game shops, going to game shops that aren't franchises. Stuff like Game and CEX are quite good, but like the franchises.
You want to support local businesses.
Yeah,
that are selling shit.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. And there was GeForce in town that actually recently closed down, which, I mean, it's a shame, but I remember the guy was like saying to me like, oh, this is Amazon's fault. People don't want to get up and go into town to buy a game. And I'm like, right, but also that's not really people's fault. Like, like, you're moaning. And he was getting annoyed at me and things. And like, you could obviously tell he was pissed because like he'd sunk a shit ton of money into this business.
Yeah.
But back to my point, so I normally support shops like that. There's a few, but there's like, have you noticed this like dying out?
Well,
like,
and small independent stores for games like comics, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like totally like I can't think of one at all. There was a few near me. There was one no far that I was very happy it closed down because around the time of Persona 5's launch, which I think. Have we done a podcast? We haven't even done a podcast as Persona.
We must have mentioned Persona at some point. Like, I'd be shocked if we haven't.
No, because I mean we were both obsessed with it. Like,
there's a good chance we ended the podcast before Persona 5 even came out.
Yeah, I think that's what
we just skipped it entirely.
Yeah, but Persona 5 was shit hot. Persona 5 The Royal's coming out in January, so I guess we're like...
We'll get on to that. We'll get on to that.
Yeah, but basically, the point I was trying to make is normally I support these like mom and pop shops, but I was in Tesco, lovely Tesco, a bastion of British culture.
Of course.
And they had their clearance aisle, and they had a boxed new Nintendo 2DS XL, so see like the nice one, the one that folds, and the one that's like got the biggest screen out of all of them, and it's got the C-stick, the nice one.
Well, the 2DS XL can fold.
Yeah, it's like it's the best one. by far. And I found it, and it was like on clearance for like £67 for a.
It's crazy how cheap they are. I was tempted to buy one as well because I sold my 3DS, but you could get a 2DS for like 40 quid online.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
crazy.
like it's ridiculous how cheap they are. But I picked it up. I was like, oh shit, that's too good a deal to miss. And that basically this all ups back to Pokemon. So I'm trying to play through them all. I mean, like as much as we'll probably go into this a bit later because I feel like it's too early to start the National Dex rants. Because that has been a big thing.
A topic that's like it's been on my timeline for the past 2 months non-stop.
Yeah, even like
Like,
YouTube and Twitter are the two main sites I go on. I don't really go anywhere else. And like non-stop, like channels analyzing every single frame. Like, oh, this is how they fucked up.
yeah.
But yeah, Pokemon is a big deal. So I've actually got like a wee list here. I'm like, right, I'll cross that Pokemon because if we stay on this for too long, it's going to be like the hashtag Pokemon podcast. We don't need that. So I'm flicking through here. I've got a note here to say that my obscure fact knowledge, but I also feel like it's too early for that. I mean, like we're barely even like,
Yeah, we'll hit the audience with the obscure fact knowledge like a bit later on, just so they're ready for what we've got in store for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess the one thing I want to ask you. I mean, I've been pretty bold and brash. I've been playing Pokemon non-stop. What's been on your radar? I know Smash was a big thing for a while.
Smash was a big thing. I got back into Smash a fair bit.
Yeah.
Playing it like once a week or something.
Yeah.
At least. Like, I think we were the same. You grew up with Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we both probably played a lot of Brawl, I imagine.
Oh
back
yeah.
in the day.
I totally skipped Smash 4 though, but I loved Brawl.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time on Brawl, probably more than like 500 hours or something, because it was the kind of thing where I'd meet up with my friends and we'd just play Brawl. Like, that's all we'd do. And it, like, even if we're just like shooting shit or whatever, we'd always have it in the background because it's an easy thing to play. 4 was good, but it didn't really feel like its own game, which is funny considering people are used to call Ultimate a port when it was getting revealed. But
Yeah,
4 kind of felt like nothing. It was kind of felt like an expansion pack or something, to be honest.
No, I totally get it. I mean, like, when I first seen Smash, I was like, oh, it's going to port 4 to Switch. Because keep in mind, prior to that, they just ported Mario Kart 8. I mean, I know it was kind of a launch, but it wasn't really. But, like, Mario Kart 8 was the last kind of thing in E3 where everybody was like, whoa, this is happening. And I think everybody that thought Ultimate was going to be a port of 4 was, like, justified because, like, I mean, for what we've seen, it looked the same. Even if you go through some of the older trailers, the visuals were a bit more like bare bones and things. And I think when they done that big trailer, where they showed everybody and Snake come back and we all collectively screamed, the visuals looked a bit better.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, it's a great game. It's a game I play multiple times a week. I actually just bought one of the. So here's the deal. I was going to buy one of the Switch adapters for GameCube controllers. To get an official one, it's like £54, £56 pre-owned. So I was like, that's not happening.
I bought the, it was like a special, like Warrior Light Edition or something when the game came out.
Yeah.
It's like £100 for the game, the adapter, and the controller.
Yeah,
so that's what I went for.
Yeah, honestly, now, like, that's a bargain, because, like, trying to find one of them things loose is, like, ridiculous. But eventually, actually, at the start of the week on Monday, I got a shipment in. It was the Wii U adapter. Because the one upside to nobody liking the Wii U was a lot of Wii U accessories were sitting in a warehouse. So I managed to find, like, a brand new boxed Wii U adapter, like, sealed for, like, 30 odd pounds. Which I know is still, like, a lot, but then see when you compare, like, pre-owned official adapters to that, you're like, you know what, that's fine. And there's a few things I don't like about it. I mean, I don't like how it takes 2 ports for some reason. Can't justify that in my head when the new one for Switch takes 1 port. But you know, Smash is pretty huge. I mean, I still play it pretty much weekly. I mean, I was playing it last night, for God's sake. And Switch is in a weird position right now where it's like they have a lot of good games, but it's a lot of good games I don't really want to play. You know, I'm not really interested in Splatoon or, you know, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which I know the first one's meant to be like, you know, top 10 material, but the second
I
one...
don't think the second one is. You can kind of tell by looking at it. You know how,
Yeah.
like, the designs are, like, super anime compared to, like, the first one is obviously anime, but, like,
Yeah.
the second one is, like, it could be, like, characters out of Sword Art or something.
No,
You can kind of
like,
tell the writing quality and everything's just not going to be the same, because it doesn't look like it's treated as seriously.
yeah, it's not for me. It's just like, there was a, you know, 6 years ago, there was a kind of hyper Japan phase where like everything Japanese would be up my style, and the overly anime art style would have like been amazing to me. But I feel like, you know, you get a bit older and your interest in things kind of dwanes, and you know, to be honest, my relationship with anime right now is like I'm not gonna seek a good one out. Like, to get me to watch an anime, it has to be like Hunter x Hunter level quality. You know, one where I'm like, right, I need to watch this, because if it's one that like, so see for example the mindset I'm in now. See, somebody was like, oh, watch One Piece, it gets really good like 200 episodes in. I would be like, no.
Yeah, we're just burnt out. Like, I think
Yeah.
after, like, One Piece, and you're probably the same. Like, we watch One Piece, and we're going and we're watching, like, all these other shonen, and we're watching, like, 200 episode shows.
Yeah.
It's just too hard to do that now. Because
But
we just watched so much when we were younger.
yeah, and I don't even think it's a case that I don't particularly like anime anymore. I think it's the same case with games. You know, when you were younger, you could get any game and it'd be pretty great, and then when you get older, you're like, well, I need to spend money on this, so I'm not going to buy it unless it actually looks good.
And we've not got as much free time. Like, a lot of, like, nowadays, I very rarely am able to play a game for, like, 6 hours straight or something.
Oh yeah, no,
You've
that's
got limited time. You've got to think about how we're using our time.
yeah,
you know?
that's absolutely impossible. If somebody says to me they played games for 6 hours, I'd be like, how?
Fuck no.
Be like, how did you do that? I play Pokemon in my bed for like an hour before I fall asleep, and I'm like, oh, I'm playing that for ages. I'll need to turn it off.
Well, that's why I'm excited for, speaking of Switch games, Animal Crossing, because it's something nice and easy. You know, you can play
Yeah.
it for 5 minutes or an hour, and you're probably going to get something out of it.
No, I mean, Animal Crossing, like, is a franchise that like I wasn't particularly into. I never really played any.
Blasphemy.
I think like when I was younger, Animal Crossing on the DS came out around the time where I was like, oh, I only want to play COD.
You're too cool to play any of
Yeah.
these Nintendo games. I think the reason I was like that when I was younger was just because we didn't get to play a lot of multiplayer games.
Yeah.
Like on the Wii, what are you going to play? You got like Smash Online running at like 5 FPS or Mario Kart. And like everyone else is playing like Left 4 Dead and stuff. And they just looked so different to anything we could play.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean,
I was jealous growing up, seeing all these online games. Like,
I mean,
you know,
like,
everyone has like the COD era and stuff that we missed out on, kind of.
yeah, I feel like you know, me and you are roughly the same age, so we kind of came at a point where, you know, multiplayer games themselves like were just kind of blossoming, and they were just becoming a big thing. And I mean, it's pretty evident. I mean, like, you know, see if somebody was like, oh, the DLC for this game is £15, but you get like an extra 20 hours content, you'd be like, that's a pretty fair price, I'd pay that. But I mean,
Yeah.
you think back to, you know, Call of Duty, you know, COD 5, and they're bringing out map packs, and then the last map pack was like £15, and folk were like, that's ridiculous. We would never spend that much money on a game we've already paid on. And like, you look at it now, and it's like, you know, kids are spending like crazy money on loot crates. and that.
£15 a session to unlock new gun skins and stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, now we're just sounding like boomers, to be honest. But it's still a valid point, like, it's how fucked everything's gotten with the microtransactions.
Yeah, and like, you know, if we're gonna be sounding like boomers, is all going full boomer. Like, when I was a kid, you know,
Back in my day,
back in my day, back in 2006.
it was a different era.
Yeah, it was a different era, you know.
Nobody listening to this can relate to those days. It was a different time.
Yeah, but it's crazy to think that, like, to some kids, 2006 is going to sound like... Because, like, 1980 to me sounds like an eternity ago. 2060, some kids is going to sound like an eternity ago. Like, you tell somebody the year you're born, they'll be like, oh my god, so old. But back to my point, if we're going full boomer, right, how the fuck are these kids that are playing Fortnite and that, spending like 70 quid on skins and that? Like genuinely, right, when I was like tiny and I wanted a new game, if the game was above £30, I wasn't gonna get it. And
Yeah.
and even then, like, if I got that game would last me for months. Which like, how have we hit a point where like kids can just like spend like crazy amounts of money in these games? I mean, did we just grow up in the famine? Did we grow up in poverty? Or
Yeah, I remember I was really late in learning how to ride a bike. I
yeah,
had no interest or whatever, and I was told you're not getting Super Mario Galaxy 2 unless you learn how to ride a bike. So I had to go through literal blood, sweat, and tears to get
right.
that fucking game, and now people are just throwing out money for loot boxes left, right, and center. It must be because consoles, like, all your payment info is stored like on devices and stuff. Kids
Yeah,
can't have concept to money, really. Like, I
yeah,
feel like a lot of kids must just be clicking accept and whatever and just burning through cash without thinking about it. And that's not even to discredit them. They're kids.
yeah,
They shouldn't have to deal with these kind of things in their games.
yeah. No, I mean, I totally get it, and it's like, it's not even so much that. It's like, think back to when you were 6. It's not that the internet didn't exist. It was just like, Windows.
Social media didn't exist.
Yeah, or
for the
social.
most part.
We had Bebo. That was it, and even then, that was later.
Yeah.
That was like, that was much later.
The good old MySpace.
Yeah.
As well.
You'd log on to Newgrounds and you'd watch that. Did you ever watch a Sonic animation, Nazo Unleashed?
I don't think I did. No.
Honestly, you will go ape.
Is it like a flash animation? Because those were my shit back in the day. Like, I'd watch them all the time.
So basically, you like Dragon Ball Z, don't you?
Well, I mean, from what I've seen of it, it's
Yeah.
very little, but I like it. I do like it.
Yeah, you like Sonic. So what if you merge the two? So basically what happened was, right, I'll give you some... This is obscure. I'll even say it's obscure, to be honest.
Is this the first obscure fact of the day? Is it coming in?
I mean, yeah, I think so. But I feel like also this one's pretty well known. Maybe not to the Sonic fan base now, but back when I was in my Sonic prime, I feel like this is pretty well known. So we're all aware of a obscure anime series nobody's probably heard of, Sonic X. Very, very niche.
Yeah.
So Sonic X was like most animes. It had advertisements and magazines, and like, they would have like preview panels. And that was good. But there was one for like the next season where they had Sonic, and he was pure white, but his spikes didn't look right. Like, his spikes were like bent in a weird way. But rather than being like gold Supersonic, he was kind of silver. And nobody really knew what it was. But then when you went onto the website and hovered over the image, it says Nazo.
What?
Yeah, Nazo, Nazo. So basically,
So this is like some obscure Sonic form, like Ultra Instinct or something that's never been brought up again.
Yeah, it looks... Well, that's what I'm leading into. So basically, it looks like... It honestly looks like Ultra Instinct. It's like pure white and it has the glow. It's mental. But also, Ultra Instinct, you can say a lot of things look like Ultra Instinct. It's just you didn't notice it until you've seen Ultra Instinct, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
So basically, this character Nazo, I mean, MD with half a brain could have been like, right, it was just a weird drawing. It was Sonic, and it never showed up. So people were like, oh shit, this is like a cut character that was going to be in Sonic X, but never came through. And fan forums went ape for Nazo, and all these like people were like, oh, it's going to be the new Sonic character, and it never came to be. So one thing that's really interesting about Sonic X is like, I don't know how many seasons it had. It had a few, but I know like the last one, they're in space and it's like really dark, but not like dark, but it's like kid dark. It's very serious. And basically what happened was, obviously, you know, these series that are made in Japan, but also most of their audience are in the US, so they kind of pander to the US more.
Yeah.
The first couple of seasons of Sonic X were very Japanese. You know, they did things like you know, the infamous jelly donut, the rice cakes that get changed into jelly donuts. They had that.
Oh, like the One Piece censorship.
Yeah, pretty much like that. It was I think Sonic X wasn't produced. Oh no, it was done by 4Kids. Yeah, it was. Basically, um, they made that last season of Sonic X more Western because everybody in Japan hated Sonic X, but all the kids in America loved it. Sonic X done amazing here. Even me, with my stupid idiot brain, when I was a kid, loved it. I had all the toys. I think I bought the same Sonic figure 3 times just because I wanted different coloured emeralds. Um, but basically, this character Nazo was like he never came to be, right? Now what happened was some people started making threads like, oh, what do you wish Nazo was? And it's like, oh, he's like the evil, you know, Dragon Ball GT, where like the evil energy of the Dragon Balls becomes Omega Shenron.
Omega Shenron.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, the big dragon.
no, alright, I keep forgetting. You're the only person that doesn't like Dragon Ball. Basically, all you need to know is there's a series called Dragon Ball GT that's not very well liked, but I don't think it's horrible.
Is it not filler? Like after the Majin Buu saga or something?
Yeah, so basically what happens is you know, they blow up Majin Buu, and then Buu gets reincarnated as Oob.
It's Fat Buu.
No, no,
Oh,
no, no. So there's Buu, Super Buu, Evil Buu, Fat Buu, Majin. It's like there's a bunch of Buus.
Oob's the kid. Yeah, Oob's the kid. That's
so basically what happens is when they kill Evil Buu, he becomes reincarnated as Oob, and then Goku trains him, and that's how the series ends. Now, don't ask me why, but Toriyama was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this shit anymore. But Toei were like, Toriyama, this is making a shit ton of money. Can we continue this? And Toriyama's like, fine, just ask me some of the plot points. And they're like, cool. So they done their own thing. So they obviously had the whole Goku turned into a kid and getting his tail back, and then that was how they could bring back the Great Apes, which
fan service.
Yeah,
basically.
basically, but it wasn't a good fan service. I mean, there was some good episodes, but in general, GT's pretty hated. But like, basically, there's an enemy in Dragon Ball GT who's like probably, I think he's one of the last ones. Omega Shenron. I think that's his name. Let's quickly Google. I'm sure it's Omega Shenron. Yeah, GT Shenron. So, oh yeah, he's just called Ultimate Dragon God or whatever. But he is the negative energy for the Dragon Balls because they've used them too much. So it's like the use the Dragon Balls too much, then you know GT Shenron appears and he tries to he does evil things. There's actually an episode where Goku and Vegeta fuse into Gogeta, which wasn't canon.
Yeah.
Which wasn't canon until that movie, the Broly movie.
So they created Gogeta originally.
Yeah,
their fusion.
Toei did. Toei.
That's weird.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things like Broly wasn't made by Toriyama. He was made by a Toei staff member. Who, fun fact about him, he is so up his own arse that he thinks that Broly is the strongest character in the series. Like, he refuses to admit that anybody can beat Broly.
Broly now in the new movie might be the strongest in the series.
Oh no, but you've got like
apart from Xenos or whatever his name is.
Oh no, I mean that's
obvious answers.
That's like a power ceiling. It's like you're never gonna be stronger than him because he's like universe. But basically, he thinks that nobody can beat Broly. And even like Beerus, who's like a god of destruction and blew up. Well, no, there was some weird retcon where basically, you know how Frieza blew up the planet Vegeta and then killed Goku's dad. There was a weird...
Beerus was involved with Goku's dad because I've seen bits and pieces of Super.
Yeah, it's really weird. They retconned it so that even though Frieza blew up the planet Vegeta, there's a line in one of the movies which I don't even know is the original Japanese version, but I remember seeing it. Basically, you know, the Frieza revival movie where the Golden Frieza appears and Super Saiyan Blue appears. There's a line where Whis says to Beerus, "Are you going to tell Vegeta that you authorised the destruction of his planet?" And he goes, "Shut up, shut up, shut up." So basically, right, like it's implied that Beerus knew Frieza, you know, years and years ago, and he let it blow up. But we're getting off topic, so I want to talk quickly about Broly. So, Beerus is like, blows up planets and shit because he's bored. He's like really fucking overpowered.
Or he just sleeps and leaves it to everyone else to just blow shit up.
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, Goku
It's a good life.
Goku has the power of Ultra Instinct, which the manga, everybody has. More than one person has Ultra Instinct in the manga. Roshi has it, I know that. But basically, you can imagine that they've written Ultra Instinct to be unbeatable. That's why they don't use it anymore. The guy that created Broly all the years ago is a Toei staff member. And he to this day refuses to admit that MD could beat Broly. Even though, technically speaking, Broly got beaten twice, 3 times if you count Bio Broly. I know
so even like 90s movie Broly, he stands by as being like
the
strongest
character. The strongest character in the series. But yeah, I don't know how we spiraled for Sonic X to Nazo Unleashed to Shenron and Broly, but basically, reeling it back in. So Nazo Unleashed was a fan animation on Newgrounds, which, kind of 2006, 2007, all the Newgrounds stuff got stolen and put on YouTube. So I watched it. Basically what happens is like Sonic and Shadow are fighting Nazo, but Nazo gets the Chaos Emeralds, absorbs them, becomes really overpowered, and it's like basically just Dragon Ball Z. And it's like animated, like, I wouldn't say animated well, but see by Newgrounds standards, it's like insane. And like Nazo Unleashed was literally just because an image appeared that wasn't used in the anime, and then when you hovered over it, it says Nazo. That's how like crazy some of these fucking like fan made things are. And also, if you want another fun fact about Sonic X, the studio that produced it, I think their name was TMS Entertainment. They're
pretty famous,
yeah,
if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they do Lupin the Third, Detective Conan. They did D Grey Man, which I want to talk about in a little bit. Do you know what else they done? Akira.
What? Really?
Yeah.
No way. No way.
The studio that done Sonic X done Akira.
I saw Akira the other day, and it was horrifying. It was absolutely horrifying.
I love Akira, but then also the studio like does like tidy ups for shows like, remember that show Animaniac, and there was like DuckTales and Batman. Oh my god, see the 90s Spider-Man series where Spider-Man wasn't, basically they had a contract written up, and Spider-Man wasn't allowed to punch Andy in his show. Right, I don't know why they done this, right? But I think it's because 90s people were overly sensitive with their censors. But Spider-Man wasn't allowed to punch anybody in his show. So how they got around that was they basically just wrestled each other and put each other in heatlocks. Or Spider-Man would web a wall and pull a wall on them, because for some reason Spider-Man killing somebody by putting bricks on them was less offensive to children than him punching them. So if you ever go back and watch the 90s Spider-Man series, watch every episode, you'll never see Spider-Man punch MD. He can get punched, but he can't punch MD. And the thing is as well is like I've been back into comics a little bit because they're quite fun to read. When I'm doing things, and like honestly, some of the plots of these comics are the funniest things ever. Oh, I could tell you there's one Batman comic I love.
I've been reading a few of them as well. We've probably read a few of the same ones.
Yeah.
Like, was it the one with, is his name Husk?
Husk?
It's like a big murder mystery. And there's this guy that's going around killing all the mob bosses. And
okay.
I think it was connected to the Long Halloween as well. You might have read that one.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of the big modern day Batman stories, like, and it leads into like Batman meeting Robin and training him up. I can't remember what's Robin though, because it's too many for me to remember, and like where they all come in.
I think I might be wrong, but I think that might be Damien. At that point, basically
Jason Todd, and then there's Damien.
Yeah, I think it was after Jason Todd, because obviously Jason Todd becomes
Nightwing.
Nightwing. Yeah, Nightwing. Darkwing Duck's DuckTales. Yeah. No, but I have been singing the praises of one comic I read. I can't remember the issue number. I think basically in one of the comic books, I think it's called Joe Chill in Hell. basically, you know the story, you know, Bruce Wayne's parents get killed, and you know he's like becomes Batman because of it. In this comic book, Batman finds the guy who killed his parents, Joe Chill, right? But see, rather than killing him, do you know what he does?
What?
He sneaks into Joe Chill's house every night and beats the shit out of him while he's sleeping, and he wakes up and is getting the shit beaten by Batman. And then
Well,
Batman
as long as he's not killing anyone, you know, it's fair game. He's completely in his right, apparently.
yeah, but this guy's like sleeping and he gets woke up by getting the shit beaten by Batman, and then Batman leaves.
He just doesn't say anything and just
No,
leaves.
Doesn't say anything, right? And what happens is the guy's like, ah, what the fuck was that about? And obviously he doesn't know that Bruce Wayne's Batman and he killed his parents. So like he just thinks that Batman's come into his house and battered him for no reason.
Over and over again.
Yeah, and what happens is he comes back the next night and does the same, right? So this guy Joe Chill's like, ah, right, Batman's after me. I need to hire bodyguards for when I sleep. So he like goes to his bed. He's got all his bodyguards, right? Do you know what Batman does? He beats the shit out of all the bodyguards, breaks into his room, beats the shit out of Joe Chill again, and just leaves. And he does it for like a good few nights, and it gets to the point where like Joe Chill can't sleep because he's feared Batman's gonna come in and kick the shit out of him.
So how does it resolve? Like, does he go to prison or like Joe Chill go to prison, or does he just do this until the end of time?
So actually, it's quite a dark ending. How it ends is that Chill is like, stop before you beat the shit out of me. Why are you doing it? And Batman puts his hand, you know, in a drawer and he pulls out the gun.
Oh, this is the gun you killed my parents with.
Yeah, and he hands it to him. And he goes, what? Why have you got the gun I used to kill, Martha Wayne? And Batman just leaves. And it's implied that he shot. It's implied that Joe Chill shoots himself because he's so scared. And I think as well, it's the implication, right, that Joe Chill can't go to the authorities and be like, Batman's breaking in, because they'll go, well, you're a criminal, so we're going to arrest you.
And they'll also go, what the fuck are we going to do against Batman?
Yeah,
and
it's also the fact, right, that see if he did try and tell Andy, they're going to go, who's going to believe you? I'm Batman.
So Batman basically drives a man to suicide.
Yeah, and
it's interesting.
And it's honestly one of the unintentionally funniest. It's just the idea that Batman doesn't kill the guy; he just beats him up every night. Apparently,
I'm gonna have to read that.
Yeah, apparently it's no canon though.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it was canon for a while, but I think they implied that it was like a drug-induced hallucination, like while Bruce Wayne was getting tortured or something. But for a while it was canon, and I think it's hilarious. I think as well there was, you know how you always get these comics where people get like a cosmic power?
Yeah. Like every villain, every character's got to have at least one chapter.
Yeah, I mean,
that kind of thing happens.
If I remember right, there's one comic that's almost identical, right? But you know how Joe Chill?
Yeah.
Rather than Batman sneaking in his window and beating the shit out of him, basically Batman gets these like omnipotent god powers, and do you know what he does?
Beats him up even more?
No. He appears in Joe Chill's room every night, goes, I'm Bruce Wayne, I'm Batman, and then teleports back out. And obviously like, Chill's like, what the fuck's going on? Basically, it's just Bruce Wayne is just basically trolling this guy. He's just appearing and telling him what he done and disappearing. And obviously, even like Chill's like, mobster pals, he can't be like, oh, help me kill Batman, because like, how did he get in? He teleported into the room because he's God.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
honestly, even when he's got God powers, he decides to harass this guy like as he's trying to sleep.
Yeah, he's like trying to sleep and just gets his shit beat him every night. Actually, there was one other comic I read. It was quite funny. You know that guy Luke Cage? He's not really in the MCU, but he's got like his Netflix series.
Yeah, he's trained by. Wasn't he not trained by Iron Fist?
Yeah.
Or like the other way around or something.
Yeah, I think he trained Iron Fist because it depends what universe, but I'm pretty sure Iron Fist is younger, so he trained them. Basically, Luke Cage is like, he's got invincible skin, so he can just punch anything and he can't really get hurt, right?
Yeah.
So you know Doctor Doom, the Fantastic Four villain. He has his own plot. He has his own country. and that basically Doctor Doom sends out killer robots, right? But he didn't mean to do it, so he doesn't know who to ask. But then he flies to New York and he goes to Luke Cage. Will you stop these killer robots? I'll give you $200, right?
$200.
Yeah, but Luke Cage isn't like Iron Man. He's like street level, so $200 times like, oh cool, $200, I'll do it. Yeah, that sounds fair. So basically, right, Luke Cage, beats up all these robots and smashes them. And he goes to go to Doctor Doom. How do I contact you? And Doctor Doom flies back to his own country and does Disney pay him, right? So obviously, right, Cage is fucked off. He's really pissed about the fact he's not got his $200, right? So what happens is Luke Cage goes to the Fantastic Four's headquarters, because Fantastic Four are obviously aware of who Luke Cage is. They don't really interact, but they know who he is. He goes, can I borrow one of your jets so I can fly to Doctor Doom's country, Liberia?
And naturally, they say, of course. Like,
yeah.
Hand over a jet to this guy.
So, like, it's a comic book for the 80s, so it's pretty stupid, right? But, like, just, like, think about this, right? This guy is riding a, like, couple of $1 million jet to another country.
For $200.
For $200, right? So, you know what happens, right? They say aye because they know, oh shit, this is Luke Cage. He could probably, beat the shit out of everybody. So Luke Cage arrives in Doctor Doom's country, and he's like, oh, all these guards come, and he beats the shit out of every guard. And then obviously Luke Cage goes into Doctor Doom's lair, and he's like, oh, I knew you were coming when my men reported a black man in the Fantastic Four's craft. Do you know what he says?
What?
Where's my money, honey? Right? And Doctor Doom's like that, money. You talk about the money I owed you for the robots. You came all this
chump change.
Yeah, it's like Doctor Doom's like that. Did you come all this way for like $200? Are you insane? And it's like basically.
Please tell me he just gives him the money so he goes away.
No, what happens is like he refuses to give him the money, right? So what happens is he goes, right, I'm gonna punch you with my pain armor and you're gonna die. But obviously Luke Cage is indestructible skin, so it doesn't hurt him, right? So he's like, I'm going to give you a sample of pain. And Luke Cage responds, and this is a sample of my fist. And he starts beating the shit out of Doctor Doom, who is like one of the strongest villains in like the full Marvel comics, because like he's like god level. He has a fucking country and a massive fleet. So it's this random black guy for like America just comes over, starts beating the shit out of Doctor Doom for like $200, right? And then what happens is like Doctor Doom like goes into his wallet and pays him $200 to stop. He's like, here's $200, stop kicking the shit out of me, please. Luke Cage gets in the jet and it's never mentioned again. And it's one of my favourite fucking comic panels ever.
That sounds like the kind of dispute I'd hear between fucking drug dealers.
Yeah,
like, wanting their money. Like, I think the greatest things about comics has got to be the fact that you'll get chapters that are essentially fan fiction.
Yeah.
It's still the best shit ever.
Yeah, I mean, I just realised we kind of snowballed into obscure facts, but
we're too deep to go back at this point. Like, we're 5 segues in. I forgot the original point. We're just gonna roll with it.
I think we were talking about how kids have too much money. I'm gonna try and backtrack.
Was that not segued on something else? Like, so I don't think we can go back.
Kids had too much money. When I was young, I only had Newgrounds. Newgrounds had this animation called Nazo Unleashed. It was a Sonic X thing. Sonic X is animated by TMS, who done Spider-Man. Spider-Man facts then led into other Spider-Man facts that then led into Batman facts that then led into this
Doctor Doom trivia.
Yeah,
I mean we could keep going with the Doctor Doom trivia. Like...
I mean, like honestly, in general, Spider-Man's like probably the most overpowered character in Marvel. Basically.
Well, he's strong as fuck. Like, significantly stronger than most people in the MCU.
Yeah, it has like the proportional strength of a spider. So, like, in theory, he could like punch somebody and make them explode. And even in one of the comic books, right, Peter Parker outright says, "Whenever I punch somebody, I have to hold back a punch in case I kill them." And whenever people hit me, I have to jump back and pretend I'm taking pain, because if they actually got a hit in me, I'm so strong that it would break their fist. And this was like proven because there's one of the comics where like a heavyweight like champion uppercuts him, and the comic book ends with the heavyweight champion like, in the hospital because his arm was broken. Like it was just dust.
Just on impact from punching him.
Yeah, it's ridiculous how like strong Spider-Man is. Oh, I feel like I've been hitting you with the obscure fact knowledge. I mean, there was one other thing that my friend Google, who I talk about all the time, but he mentioned to me where I was like, I think I know what you're talking about, and then do you know that way like you remember something from your childhood that like
Yeah.
yeah like that you didn't know you remembered. The thing was like a obscure spin-off. I think it was the Bomberman series. I'm actually just pulling up the screenshot of the name because it's so obscure, like nobody talks about it. But do you remember these toys, right? And they were like little robots, and you put a little marble, like a coloured marble, in their mouth, and it came out their like stomach, and you could fire it across.
Amazingly, I don't think I ever owned one, but I think I know exactly what you're on about.
Yeah,
Somehow.
it's like I think the name was Battle B.
Were they not like
Damon.
round, like they were like balls that you could like transform into like a creature that'd fire this fucking marble at other creatures?
Yeah, it
Like
was.
a kind of transformer kind of deal in a way.
Yeah, it's like you just put a wee ball in them and then fire them at other things. But it was a spin off of Bomberman. But when I mentioned that, like when he mentioned that to me, I was gone insane. I was like, oh my god. I've sent you something in the chat there, so you can have a look at it. But it is insane. For
Oh,
anybody,
I remember those.
yeah,
Holy shit.
yeah, I know, right? So for anybody who's listening to this and wants to know what we're talking about, go to Google and type Battle B Damon, and
If I remember, I'll put up a picture of it in the
yeah,
video as well.
yeah, and I think like you'll remember something you didn't know you remembered, and it's such a strange feeling because I feel like in the age of the internet we're in, like you won't forget anything because it's constantly documented, but finding something I knew about, but I didn't know about. Like I didn't know that I know. It was the strangest feeling. Like, oh god. But I mean, as for obscure things, I mean that's probably me for that. I could probably come up with some more, but
I mean,
I'm
I don't
like,
think you're going to get any more obscure than the Battle B Damon. Like, this
yeah,
is something else. I've not seen this in like a decade.
yeah. I mean, I think shout outs to Google Chan for that one, but like, oh, even to this day, it's like you remember something, but it's hazy.
Yeah, that's like 99% of my memories. I feel like I've got a really bad memory, but like, if somebody reminds me, I can fucking reach into my head and bring it out. But I
Yeah.
can't. It's not something that I'd think about. Like this thing, I wouldn't think about it normally.
Yeah, but you'll probably think about it a lot now that I've mentioned it.
Probably.
Yeah, it's insane. Oh god, I feel like I've maybe said my piece with obscure things. I think I've chatted for like 20 minutes straight there without taking a breath. So Cameron Macon, Psychic Extremist, what series have you been watching that you would recommend?
Well, we mentioned it very briefly earlier on. I think most people have seen it, but it's the longest anime series I've seen in quite a while. The one, the only, Hunter x Hunter.
Oh,
I
fuck
watched
yeah.
it, and it was phenomenal.
Yeah, it's ridiculous how good it is.
I did not want to watch it because it was long, and partly I didn't want to believe it would be better than Yu Yu Hakusho,
Oh yeah, no,
because
it
I think
is.
Yu Yu Hakusho is just a classic. It's got one of my favourite villains. Do you see it?
Yeah. Um, in my opinion, I watched both Hunter x Hunters then Hakusho, but then I watched Hunter x Hunter after Hakusho, and I feel like if you've watched Hakusho, a lot of the references Hunter x Hunter has make more sense. I mean, basically, I don't know how far in you are, but I know one of Kilo's weapons the exact same as he is. It's
The
ridiculous.
yo-yos?
Yeah, the yo-yos.
Yeah. I think Hunter x Hunter is definitely thematically stronger. It feels more thought out, and that's because it is. I'm pretty sure because with Yu Yu Hakusho, at the end, we've got the Demon Tournament.
Yeah.
I think Shonen Jump or whatever were like, okay, this series is doing okay, but the kids nowadays aren't this Goku character, so make Hakusho more like Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
And then he just was like, no, I'm ending this series if you're gonna make me change it like something else. So he just lost motivation kinda and rushed it, which you can kind of see because the last arc of that show is probably the weakest, which is a shame because that would be your lasting impression of it.
Yeah, no, I totally get that.
Despite how good like the first 3 arcs are, like when Yusuke is to take down the spirit investigator. I can't remember his name.
Shusui?
He had like dodgeballs he used to attack with basically. Like he's one of my favorite villains ever because I thought he was just so fucking cool. Same with Toguro. Like even if he was simple, just this big, intimidating like kind of guy.
Yeah.
I liked how he was like always trying to push Yusuke on and that kind of thing. But Hunter x Hunter was just fantastic from start to finish. Like every arc was phenomenal. The only one I wasn't mad about was the Greed Island arc.
Yeah.
Because it's like a training arc, and I don't know, a lot of the time training arcs aren't that good. So it did have a bit of slower, like some episodes were a lot slower than usual, and I don't know, the stakes aren't as high when you're in a game.
Yeah.
Like, but apart from that, the first arc hooked me from the beginning. The Chimeran arc is just, it's unreal.
Yeah,
like,
I'm in the weird minority with the Chimera Ant arc where I feel like starting off it's really boring, and then as it goes on it just spirals. Have you finished it yet or?
I finished it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that ending, man, like when it, because obviously we were watching it as it aired, and folk were pure like, oh, I'm greeting in that, and like obviously it didn't affect me as much. But I just remember like that scene where like Gon kicks the shit out of Pito, which by the way, Pito is male. It's confirmed.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So it's a rude awakening for a lot of people, I think.
Yeah, unfortunately. But when he fights her and then his arm gets ripped off and he just picks up his little ripped off arm and then launches it.
That was actually scary. Like when you look at Gon in that kind of scene, like when he's waiting for the Shogi girl to be repaired and his eyes are just like dead inside. Like it freaked me out.
Yeah.
I think the show is good at showing how guilty Gon feels about everything. Because obviously, like every time somebody's injured, like Kite gets attacked by the cat trap.
Yeah.
He clearly blames himself, and that's probably why he was completely fine with his arm getting ripped off and everything at the end.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. I mean, just thinking about Hunter x Hunter now, I'm like, maybe I should rewatch it. It's one
something else.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly, it's on another level compared to a lot of shows. The consistent.
I think it's maybe the best shonen ever. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's one of the. I think it's the same case as Heart Gold, where like Heart Gold is not my favorite Pokemon game, but a lot of people regard it as their favorite and the best one. And
one I started with.
Yeah, I mean, like everybody regards it as like the best one. And I can agree it's the best one, but it's also not my favourite. I did not enjoy it as much as I'm enjoying Black. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can get behind it, but Hunter x Hunter in general is one of the weird ones where it's like I love it, and I've watched both versions. You know, the 99 and the 2000 and. Was it 2011, 2012?
11, I think it started. It ended in like 2014, I imagine.
Yeah. No, like, if people call it one of the greatest animes ever made, I mean, I wouldn't disagree, but it's like not my favorite. I mean, I'm saying that as if I don't like it. I love it. It's just like there's other shows that just like the concept alone I love more. Like, you ever watched the original Devilman OVAs?
I've not seen them, but I think you mentioned them before, perhaps.
Yeah, the
I know they're really weird at times, like the manga as well.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
it can be really fucked up.
Wait, do you know about the whole Violence Jack thing?
I used to. You might have told me about it, back
Yeah,
in
I
the
mean,
day.
I think I've already mentioned it in one of the other podcasts, so I'll like skim over this one. Basically, Devilman came out, it sold crazy. Devilman gets like new versions all the time, but Devilman came out, it's so crazy, and then the mangaka was like, "Oh, I'm gonna make a series called Violence Jack," which is not Devilman, even though it's set in a parallel universe where Devilman characters are there. Like Rio is there, but he's got his legs cut off and he's a sex slave. So it's like it's got loose ties to Devilman. Then basically what happens is there's Violent Jack. I think the main guy was called like people in the comments will probably correct me here, but I think it was called like the Slum King or something. Basically,
Slum King.
yeah, basically like the Mad Max god of the wasteland, right? And Violence Jack wants to beat the shit out of him. But then what happens is Violence Jack gets so angry that he turns into Devilman, and then the Slum King gets so angry that it reveals its true form, and it turns out it was Rio all along. And it basically, basically what happens is like it goes for this like this is the Devilman to the last 4 volumes just become Devilman versus Rio because it sells so badly that they changed it at the end.
Yeah, a lot of the manga stuff for Devilman just sounds like a fever dream. Like the guy was just on LSD or something and just
Well, yeah,
went crazy.
I mean the mangaka's Go Nagai. Basically,
Did he not invent mechs as well?
yeah, I mean, I don't think he invented it, but it was like one of the first to do like mecha anime. He done like Cyber 007 and he done like Cutie Honey and he's done a lot of like really influential series. So I'm not saying that he did invent mecha, but he was one of the first. I mean, if you want to know one of the first Sentai series, the Japanese Spider-Man show is technically one of the first Sentai. Because you know the Japanese Spider-Man show where he pilots a giant mech.
Wait, Spider-Man pilots a mech.
Wait, you don't know about the Japanese Spider-Man show? We always come back to bloody comic books, man, don't we?
Yeah, this is a fucking cycle.
Yeah, basically there's a Japanese live action series. I think it came out in the 60s. It's really old, right? Spider-Man has like a gun in that, and like he runs, he like fights people, but shoots like Tommy guns and that. And what happens is he has this Spider-Man, like spider robo, or whatever it's called, and I mean they still reference it in the Spider-Verse comics, but like basically there's a live-action Spider-Man series in Japan where he pilots a giant robot, but there wasn't a lot of Sentai around then, so like Kamen Rider and things like that. There wasn't a
Yeah.
lot. There was not. I don't
So
even.
Spider-Man birthed the genre. Basically, he walked so Kamen Rider could run.
Honestly, I mean, I know you're saying that as a joke, but yeah, it's ridiculous. Spider-Man pilots a giant mech. It's stupid, like, but also I love it. I mean, like, what's your opinion on Naruto? Is that one you ever get into?
I'll never watch Naruto.
No,
Like,
it's
it just nothing about it stands out.
yeah. I mean, it's weird because like a lot of the animation in all 3 of the series, so Naruto, Naruto Shippuden, and Boruto, the animation quality is weird because sometimes the animation will just be like drawn like a simple drawing with no animation, and then sometimes it's like one of the fucking nicest looking animations I've ever seen. So it's
Yeah, well, same
very
with
weird.
like One Piece and
Oh yeah, I mean now
Bleach, I
I mean,
imagine.
Naoto Shishida, anything he does for One Piece looks insane. I mean, if you look at Gear Fourth and stuff, like he does
Yeah,
some.
he's phenomenal. He's probably my favorite animator. Like, even if you look at stuff like Mob Psycho
Yeah,
and the crazy shit, like I still prefer that guy's work on One Piece. Like an Impel Down when I think they're against Magellan
yep,
and Mister Three's got to put like a coating over his arm so he can attack him. It's like the most fluid like fight scene I've ever seen.
yeah. I totally get it, and I mean it's weird because in the Broly movie, he was an animator, but he wasn't like the director. So it's a bit weird how it works, where like the director has an art style in mind, and then you have to draw in that art style, and you can tell it was something Shida kind of struggled with a wee bit in that movie. But I mean, it paid off. That movie is insanely good.
Anyone could watch it. You don't
Oh
have
yeah,
to be a Dragon Ball fan to have a blast because that's basically the like how I was going into it. It's probably one of my favorite anime movies. It's basically just one massive fight scene. but it's paced well, and they did a good work with Broly, like giving him a character. Even the voice acting for him was amazing, even though he just screamed all the time.
Yeah, I mean, they took somebody who really doesn't have a personality because they grew up on a planet where nothing was there, and they gave him some personality. And I mean, there's also like wee details, like Gogeta has like this. I can't remember the name of it because it's Dragon Ball. There's a name for everything, and it gets to the point where you can't remember everything. But there's like one like beam Gogeta does. It's like a ball. Basically, what happens is it's like if you're pure heart, the ball won't hurt you. But if you've got evil thoughts in that, then the ball will kill you. And then Gogeta throws it, and it does not affect Broly. And there's like a frame of him smiling, and it's implied that the animator's done that because Broly is actually pure heart. It's just he doesn't know any better. And
Yeah, well, the entire thing is just him being used and abused. Like, it's not like he really has any control over like what he's doing. Like, he probably doesn't want to be there beating the shit out of these guys.
yeah,
But
I mean, he was literally getting electrocuted. I mean, I did like it because I actually went to the one of the first screenings in the UK for it, and I went to go and see Detective Pikachu. It was an opening night, but like there was so many kids there, right? I went to go see Broly, and there was so many adults. Like, I think there was like two children in the crowd. Like, Dragon Ball is this weird thing where it's like it's an anime, and I guess it's kind of appeals more to kids because I mean it's a toughian, but like so many adults were at that movie, and obviously it was the first screening, and it was at like 9 at night, so maybe kids were busy or whatever. But fuck me, man.
yeah, it seems like a thing most like a lot of people older than us were into as a kid. I think it's more in America, like like Cartoon Networks and stuff over there. They'd be playing Dragon Ball.
Yeah,
So I think people like late 20s and that kind of age would have a real big attachment to Dragon Ball.
yeah, no, totally, totally. I mean, Naruto though is like I've watched a bit of the anime and I read most of the manga, and like I've got a pretty good knowledge of the series, but there's so much like stupid shit in it. Like basically they have obviously like Naruto is the nine-tailed fox sealed inside him, and originally the nine-tailed fox killed everybody in the village and that because he was evil, um, and obviously got sealed inside Naruto, and that's why everybody hates him. But like originally he just done it because he was evil, and then they added this thing in where they had this thing in where like, oh no, he was being controlled, he was never evil. And then it's like, well, if he was never evil, then why was everybody in the village hating Naruto? And it's like it just retcons itself constantly. Um, and then as well as like, it starts off, it does that anime thing where like it starts off, we are ninja, we do cool ninja stuff, maybe teleport, but we don't do anything like crazy. And then by the end of the series, it's like
Running at the
massive,
speed of light,
yeah, like massive,
basically.
massive spirits they pilot that fire massive earth destroying beams at each other, and I'm like, I just like Naruto because like the whole thing I liked about it when I was younger was like he was useless. He really was the talented. He couldn't do anything properly, but you seen him as the show went on. He got a bit more mature and he learned to do more, and then as the show goes on, he becomes like a better ninja, a better shinobi, and then just that kind of progression I liked. By the time you get to the end, he's like firing like god beams and all that, and like they're piloting massive spirit demons and all that, and it's like what the fuck happened?
I don't think I'd like that in Naruto. Like, at least when Dragon Ball's like that, it also ups the scales to go with it. Like they're fighting in like space or something. Like I think it'd be a bit weird if I'm to see all these people just kicking about on Earth solely with these kind of fucking reality-defying abilities.
Yeah, and I mean Dragon Ball kind of has that, but also it's kind of all explained because it's not like Goku has like a big spirit inside him that he can pilot. I mean, he does train a lot, and that's how he's so strong. I mean, obviously some of the things he does, like fucking blowing up like half a planet with his beams, is a bit ridiculous. But
I mean,
also
at the end
like,
of the day, doesn't it just come back like a lot of times? He does kind of get a lot of the time he wins his fights. It is just like him getting beaten down, and he activates like a new form or something. There's like that in the tournament arc a fair few times
Yeah,
for Super.
no, totally. Like, but then Mace shows are like that. How many new forms does Luffy get? Like,
Yeah, and you know, Dragon Ball's the OG for that kind of thing. So can you really hate it that much?
yeah, and
Because
it's
it
like,
excels in other places. Like it gives us like a larger than life universe to compensate for the powers escalating.
yeah, like we can agree that it's stupid, right? But it's also ridiculously fun. I mean, like, I don't know if you've ever seen Goku and Frieza versus Jiren.
Yeah, he's the Justice Warrior, isn't he?
Yep.
I really like that fight he had with him. Just
Yeah,
absolutely stomping everyone.
yeah. I mean, like that is that is like they've been stripped in, so they've barely got any strength left, so they're just fighting. You know, they're doing things like grab his arms and legs so he can't move, so they can get punches in. It's like, I mean, I wouldn't say realistic because they're still firing beams and that, but it's like it's stripped in. You know, they're not piloting big spirit demons or whatever. Like,
Yeah, it's cool that their fight got to a point that where even they're just using like, you know, like last resort kind of tactics.
yeah. And I mean, the way it ends is like pretty cool as well. It's like technically nobody wins because they both get knocked off, but oh man,
When I was watching that, I felt like Super would be a good place to end the series because like when you go when because the premise is, you know, they're bringing in the strongest fighters from every universe. Like where do you go from there? You've
well,
literally you've literally gotten the strongest fighters that could ever like exist in any dimension.
yeah,
Even Broly. Well, no, Broly's. I was gonna say like, oh, it's a bit weird. Broly wasn't in the Tournament of Power, but I guess he had a lot of latent ability, so
yeah,
I'm fine with that. And it's obviously I'm fine with Broly coming back, but I'm not sure where they could ever take the series
yeah. I
on
mean,
like from this point.
yeah, because basically what happened was they had the two female Saiyans,
They were like
cauliflower.
Broly rip-offs,
Yeah,
basically.
they were testing the water. Then everybody seemed to like them, so like fuck it, we'll make Broly canon. But the one upside is like there's a lot of movie villains that are pretty ace. I mean, there's Cooler, who I've not actually seen the movie, but I've seen a few clips, and basically they bring out Meta Cooler, and it takes like two Super Saiyans using all their energy to kill one, and they look off into the distance, and there's like 500 of them coming towards them, and it's so fucking hype.
And Cooler's in the fighting game, if I remember correctly, which is pretty cool. Like how they just add in
Yeah,
characters from the films as well. But I think that was the same with Broly. Like the Broly came out in the fighting game before the anime. I could be wrong on that, so
yeah.
don't quote me.
I don't know. My Dragon Ball knowledge is a bit spotty because it's weird because I grew up watching Z, and it's the one I remember the least. But you know, Broly, Cooler, Janma, none of them are canon. They're all uncanon. But here's the thing: they're making non-canon things canon. Like until Dragon Ball Super Broly, Goku's father, Bardock.
Yeah, was he
He
not
was
canon before that?
nope. But it was one of the things. It was like the anime done it so well that Toriyama was like, "I screw it. That's his dad."
Yeah, well, I mean, his role can't be that big at this point. It seems like he's just telling, like, Toei will come up to him with an idea and then he'll let them do it or rewrite it.
Yeah,
So
I
he's
mean,
probably fine with letting a lot of the stuff in the movies slide.
yeah, I mean, I know that basically until every movie he never bothered with, and then when Battle of the Gods came out, so the one with Super Saiyan God, that was when he started getting involved. And then I think Battle of the Gods, Revival of Earth, and the Broly movie, he was like really involved in. But there's been a lot of shit with Goku's dad. I mean, I think there's like three versions of his backstory. But there is one I quite like where it's no canon. It's like a what if anime, but it's like a special. Basically, what happens is Bardock, when he gets blown up, he gets sent back in time. So he meets Frieza's ancestor, and he's so angry that he basically goes Super Saiyan and kicks the shit out of Frieza's ancestor. But like, there's barely any plot. It's literally just like 10 minutes. It just Goku's dad just kicking the shit out of this wee tiny Frieza clone, and it's like that's where the series excels. You know what I mean? Like we don't need
Well,
big.
the Broly film was essentially fan service as well, but it was still phenomenal.
Oh yeah, I mean, but like,
Even down to the music, like when you're here, like Goku powers up at one point, and there's like the singer in the background, Kakarot, just fucking screaming it. Like,
yeah, no, I agree. I think that movie shows you what happens when Toei actually use their budget and don't hog it. I mean, I know there's other factors to why Toei don't throw a lot of money at the One Piece and Dragon Ball animes,
it's
but
because
like,
they don't need to.
it's because they really
That's
don't need
literally
to.
the reason. Like,
And
kids will watch it forever.
and that actually segues us into our final point, I think, because this has went on. I think this has went on for like, I think on my time it's more than an hour. So I think we should have one final discussion that I mentioned earlier, but I put off to end this. And I think it's a good way to end it because it's still relevant. What is your opinion on the national decks being half?
Here we are, the big one, what everyone's
Yeah,
been waiting for.
yeah.
Right.
Or oh god, I am not happy about it at all. I am not a supporter.
And here's how we have different opinions, because I don't care.
You really don't?
I do not, but that's only because I don't care about collecting all the Pokemon. And
Yeah.
when I play these games, I don't want to be bringing in my Wobbuffet from like, Pokemon Emerald and playing with him. I want to be playing new Pokemon. So I'm not going to care about ones I'm missing out on. And, I'm only having 6 Pokemon in my party. So if the game's got like 600 or whatever, it's still more than enough for me.
Yeah,
That's
but
because I'm not as into it as you are.
yeah, but it won't have 600. That's the issue. We'll get like 500 if we're lucky. But the issue I have is like Game Freak have stripped away a lot of features. They took away following Pokemon. They took away the Battle Frontier. They took away 3v3 battles, which I only discovered recently with Pokemon Black. But holy
Is
shit!
that their first inclusion, I think?
Yeah, Pokemon Black had it. Pokemon Black 2 had it, and then X and Y had it, and then I don't think Oras had it, as far as I know. I never see any videos on it. I might be wrong, but basically, Game Freak have been cutting corners a lot, and it's this National Dex patter's a weird one because I think and I know that a lot of people are overreacting on Twitter.
Definitely.
Yeah, people are like posting stuff on wedding photos, and they're like sending like making fake accounts about like Game Freak employees being raped and things, and I don't agree with that. I think
It should never have gone as far as the rape accusations.
yeah,
Like at the end of the day, it is a game. Like
yeah,
we shouldn't be going into stuff like that.
I think it went too far, but I mean it's more a display because the fans have really not been happy since Black and White 2. A lot of people weren't happy with X and Y, and then Oras was like fine. And then the general consensus is Ultra Sun and Moon is it's pretty good, but the amount of features they've cut out and the amount of like reused models and animations is like it's become very apparent that this isn't a game series first anymore. The way the series has went, it's a merchandising series, and the games are just a vessel to create merchandise. I mean, if you look at how much money the like plushies and the like pencil cases and lunch boxes make, and then you look how much money the games actually make, the games don't pull in all that much. A lot of the money comes to people buying the anime Blu-rays and buying the figures and the the plushies and things like that. And I think as far as the Pokemon company are concerned, they want a new game when they want it, and they don't want to wait and let it be delayed. And Game Freak have to go by that. But it's very obvious that if we make a new gen, that's new Pokemon. And if you're putting 100 new Pokemon, the odds are one of them's going to be somebody's favourite. So they could probably make money off plushies. Whereas if Pokemon stopped at Ultra Sun and Moon, they would not have new Pokemon to make merchandise out of. So
the games are a means to an end. It's just a way for merchandise, basically.
Yeah, no, I totally think that's what's happened to the franchise. I mean, I'm at the point right now where the games have peaked, Black and White and Black and White 2 are generally considered by the fandom to be the last two excellent games. X and Y is pretty much unanimously hated.
That's the game I stopped playing with. There wasn't even a reason. Like, I was just playing and I just gave up. And it's the
Yeah.
only Pokemon game. Like, obviously, I've not played Ultra Sun and Moon, but like from that up to that point, that was the only Pokemon game that I just didn't complete.
Yeah.
So it was just not. It was just soulless. Like, there wasn't anything about it that stood out. It just felt like a generic kind of Pokemon game that just looked slightly better than usual. If that.
Yeah. So the issue with the Bring National Dex movement is I'm in the camp where, you know, you guys claim you don't have the time, then port the models over. If they're claiming that there's new models, but there's like so much proof that that's a lie. It's ridiculous because like basically they're like, we've tried to recreate the models as best as we can. Basically, like people that are like professional, 3D modelists and things, they've actually went side by side and went, if you were to remake something, it would not be this perfect. Like, it's physically impossible to be this close. So, I'm of the belief that if you're going to keep cutting out features like the Battle Frontier and following Pokemon and things, the one upside was always, I have a Pokemon that I caught in Colosseum, took to Fire Red, took to Emerald, took to Diamond Pearl Platinum, took to HGGS, took to Black and White 2, took to X and Y, took to Oras, took to Sun and Moon. I've had one that I can bring up. And I think that feature was so cool that people, until now, have dismissed all the other shitty features.
I never thought about that, but you're right. Like, Pokemon's a childhood experience for a lot of people, so
Yeah.
I can't see why you would want to just bring the same Pokemon, same party or whatever through all the games.
Yeah, and here's the thing, right? So for me, my favourite Pokemon ever is Totodile. I love its design and everything.
It's a good choice.
Yeah, I love Totodile. But for me, one Pokemon that I have used, so I'd always use Pokemon for that region on my first playthrough and then bring stuff over and then redo the Elite Four with my old Pokemon. And the one Pokemon I've constantly used was the Metagross I caught in Pokemon Colosseum. So that Metagross has went from my GameCube to my Game Boy Advance to another Game Boy Advance game to 3DS games, and it will continue for another 3DS games, and that's came for the GameCube. That is such a cool feature that, taking away things like Follow Me Pokemon and the Battle Frontier, I can be fine because at least I've still got this cool one. But I know Metagross will get in because it's a fan favourite, right? The way I feel about that, what if somebody's favourite Pokemon is Tailo or Swellow, that they caught it in Emerald and they've traded it up to every game, they've got every ribbon on it, and then Swellow doesn't make it to Gala. It suddenly makes it feel less like an experience, the experience of having something, taking it through all the games.
Well, it's like one massive journey, kind of. You could liken it to how Ash is just, going through every league and stuff with the same Pokemon in the anime.
And let's be honest, see when it comes to the post-game, because I'm not a believer that you should bring up Pokemon for your first playthrough, but the post-game mainly. When it comes to the post-game and you're fighting these new region Pokemon for the original one you got 10, 11 years ago on your Game Boy, that makes that Pokemon special. That is not just a combination of code and binary that's on front of you on a screen. That is like the closest thing you'll have to like an artificial friend. That thing has been with you as you grew up,